Okay guys, Billy here, Fix for Fun. Want to make another video on the XR150L here. Got right at 204 miles on it. And tell you what, I'm really falling in love with this bike. I'm really enjoying it. Alright, yeah man, you know, this thing, it really just starts right up. It's got a perfect idle. I mean, it is this smooth idle. I don't have any regrets about buying a carbureted bike at all. I thought that was really going to set me back, or I thought I was not going to be happy with what I got. But man, I tell you what, it starts right up. Idle's perfect. The clutch is smooth as can be on this thing. Like I said, I'm coming from riding, Chinese pit bikes and stuff like that, and the clutch is just really nice on this thing. It's kind of weird too. It's hard to kill it. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever driven a Honda Civic or a little 4-cylinder car with a really smooth, easy clutch in it. It's something like that. I mean, it's just almost impossible to kill. Another thing I wanted to put in my other video is this gas cap. I had hell getting it on and off a couple times here, but once you twist it, all you have to do is just push it back down without touching the key, and it'll lock itself. I didn't know that, so I wanted to show you guys that. It's got a little cover that goes over it. Okay. Yeah, and another thing was, it doesn't matter who you pass on the road that's on a motorcycle. Those guys wave at you, and it's kind of cool. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're on a Harley or a sport bike or whatever. I don't know. I'm a mechanic for a living, and anytime I test drive a Jeep, people always wave at me, and I always thought it was the silliest thing ever. Pretty much only people in Jeeps do that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyways, everybody on a motorcycle waves at each other, and I thought it was pretty cool. And this morning I was on a ride, and I stopped at the stoplight, and another guy, he pulled up, even with me in the same lane, and we sat there and chatted a bit and talked about, he asked me what kind of bike it was, so that was kind of cool. I mean, everybody that's on a bike is super friendly. I didn't really understand that until I bought one. Okay, now let's talk about the top speed on this thing. The last time I was telling you about the top speed, I hadn't really got it all the way broken in, even though I am hammering on it already, but I wasn't, fully winding it out as fast as I could get it. On a flat road, 62 miles an hour is as fast as I can get it, and to go from 55 to 62, oh man, you're probably talking about 5 or 8 seconds. I mean, it is maybe it's even longer than that. I'll have to try and make a video where we time it or something like that. But yeah, I can pull out into traffic onto a 55 mile an hour street, and I don't have any problem with that. This thing snaps up to 55 mile an hour pretty quick. I mean, even faster to 45, but from 45 to 55, it's pretty quick. Yeah, like I said, I don't feel like I'm in anybody's way or anything like that when I'm, riding it. And this thing, when I'm holding this thing full throttle at 62 miles an hour, it's not at the top of the RPM range. It's not, I don't have the motor fully pinged out, just the motor's out of power, and it won't go any faster. So the RPMs are not, it doesn't feel like, if you're riding this thing at 62 miles an hour down the road, it doesn't feel like you're about to shoot the rods out of it or anything. I mean, that fifth gear is, I believe it's overdriven as well. And, that the way that gear comes in, it feels good. It's just you run out of power, but it's not like you're gonna blow the motor up for just trying to drive 62 miles an hour. Now another thing is the shock. I don't think I can get a very good shot of it right there. Yeah, see, there's no adjuster on the bottom of it, and there's not one on the top. There might be a gas adjuster on it. I'm not sure. I haven't finished reading the owner's manual fully, but it is not height adjustable. And from what I understand, the way that is set up with that shock on that swing arm, you can't put a lowering link on it. So your only options for lowering this bike is pretty much going to be, taking some foam out of that seat and getting it recovered. I was speaking with another gentleman on YouTube about him getting his seat recovered for a lower rider. Let's see here. Yeah, not adjustable. Now, another thing is that I can't stress this enough. If you are a new rider like I am, something, you know, I looked at a few bikes online and stuff like that, and talked to some buddies about getting gear and stuff like that. Yeah, first of all, do not ride this thing without a helmet. Number one, I hope everybody already knows that, but you need to have a checklist before you get on this thing and just ride off. Now, I'm not going to lie, one time I drove off, and as soon as I jumped on it, and as soon as I got to the stoplight, it started sputtering on me. I had the gas turned off. So that's part of my checklist now. Every time before I jump on this thing, make sure the gas is on. Another thing is, if you're not keeping track of your mileage, you know, it's got a tripometer on it right there. It's got 83 miles on it. I just haven't reset it. If you're keeping track of your gas like that, you know, that's good as well. But, you know, you ought to pop the cap open and take a look and see how much fuel you got before you try to take off. But this one does have a reserve on it. So in case you guys don't know what that means, it's you can flip that little switch there, and the fuel will run out when it's on. But it'll leave a little bit in the tank on the reserve. So that can get you to a gas station once you flip it to that, if it starts to chug or die on you. I want to say the only real complaint I have on this bike here is it feels like the shifter is too close to the foot peg, like it's too small. Sometimes I got a hard time getting my foot in there. I do wear a size 11 shoe, but you know, I know other people might be made for somebody with smaller feet. But if we're going to nitpick and talk about complaints on this bike, I do have that, and it seems at about 50 miles an hour sometimes I get a weird vibration. It almost feels like a wheel bearing or something for just a second, but if I roll out of the throttle and roll back into it, it does go away. So, you know, it's not anything that seems to have gotten worse. It seems to be there from day one, and it'll kind of vibrate as long as you're in it. It almost feels like it's a harmonics thing. You know, I don't know if it's a real problem, but, you know, I had another guy comment and ask me about that, and I do feel a vibration sometimes at speed like that. But it doesn't happen until I'm about at top speed. And, you know, and another thing is, some people claiming they've got 70 miles an hour on this thing, or at least that's what I read in other markets. I wouldn't want to do 70 miles an hour on this thing. About 62 is scary enough for me. This bike, being as light as it is, or maybe it's not as aerodynamic as it needs to be, it kind of gets whipped around in the wind. Yeah, that's the only two complaints I got on it, really, is the shifter and, you know, that vibration. But time will tell if that vibration becomes a problem, and I'm kind of looking into a longer shifter, and if not, that one's steel there, so we can extend that one if we have to. But yeah, another thing is, I can't tell you how many times I have rode off on this bike, and both of my helmet straps are flapping in the wind because I forgot to, you know, connect them, and I got to stop and, you know, hook them up, because I'm not skilled enough to do that while I'm riding yet, and I don't recommend anybody do that unless they're comfortable. So, you know, a small checklist, like make sure the gas is turned on, make sure your helmet is snapped tight. You know, another thing is these tires. You know, walk around and, you know, at least, you know, take your boot or whatever and step on the edge of it and make sure that tire's not halfway flat before you guys get on it. A little checklist like that does not hurt. But if you guys are having any doubts about buying one of these bikes, you just need to go out and get one. It's too much fun. I'm not regretting any second of it or any bit of it. So, hoping I'm answering a couple more of your guys' questions. If you have any more questions or anything like that, just let me know. I'll see if I can make a video. All right, thank y'all for watching.